What up YouTube? Avid Art here with a brand new painting, and I'm also going to give you guys some tips along the way. This is going to be of Majin Vegeta, so let's get started on those tips. I already got started on the painting, so here we go. Tip number 1, draw out your painting before you even begin painting it. I don't mean on the canvas like I'm doing now. I mean draw it out so you have a reference for coloring, lighting, whatever the case may be. It's going to help you out a lot. If you're not that great of an artist or you don't have the time, whatever the case, just go ahead and find something online, find something to reference, and that'll work just as well. So tip number 2, draw out your painting on the canvas. This is going to make it a lot easier as well, because if you already have it drawn out, it's basically like a coloring book. And as well, when you're drawing it out, if you draw lightly, you can do a lot of erasing and you can get it to be exactly where you want it to be. So that all will be very helpful when learning how to paint. You can see right here that I'm drawing over a hand that I already drew. Kind of hard to see Goku and whatnot, but you can see it and I erase it as I go. But that's a big upside, is that you have the freedom to adjust. The downside you can see right here is it's messy. It leaves a lot of lead, and there are ways around that, but I didn't do that here. So anyways, moving on, tip number 3 is, if you're left-handed, as I am, start on the right side of the canvas. If you're right-handed, start on the left. Just that way you're working for yourself rather than against yourself. That's going to help you out a lot too. Tip number 4, pick one color and use that color and work your way using the last tip, working right to left or left to right, whatever dominant hand you have. And then once you're done with that color, move to the darker color and then use that dark color, do the same thing. And then move to the darker color again. And try and focus on one section at a time. Like right there, you saw I focused just on his head. Now I'm focusing on his body and moving from right to left, one section at a time. It'll keep the paint wet, which is going to be really helpful when you're trying to blend the paint a little bit more. So you can see me using the same process here on his hair, and you'll see me using it again and again throughout. So it makes it a lot easier, and the little white areas that I leave for the darker colors, it kind of draws out his spikes or draws out whatever else it may be you may be painting. So it'll come in handy big time. Tip number 5. Again, I'm doing the same thing. I'm working with one color until I get to the darker colors, but in a minute here you're going to see that I will use these blues to paint his eyes. I didn't want to bust out the blues too early and just finish up Vegeta. As you saw, his eyes aren't done, his mouth isn't done, just for the most part he's done, but I saved the blues for when I knew I was going to need blues. That way I don't waste any of my blues. Tip number 6, when painting an area that's highly saturated with light, in this instance it's white light, it's easier to go with the darkest color first, because you want to stay away from the area where the light's coming from, because it's so saturated, especially in Vegeta's case, him making a blast, that almost nothing's going to be visible through it. So I started with the dark and just lightly blended white into that dark gray, and until it just became white. And as you can see, it looks pretty good. Looks like there is a lot of fluorescent light coming from there. Tip number 7, use light colors. You can see here that I'm painting Vegeta's his suit, and I'm going to use these same blues that I mixed up for Goku's, and I'm going to use the same blues for both of their eyes. Just like on the larger Vegeta in this picture, the blues I used for his eyes. It creates a very aesthetically pleasing interface with whoever is looking at it. So it's very helpful, and it also lets you use your paint to its fullest. Tip number 8, when you want to lighten up something else just a little bit more, go ahead and just take some white and add it over a surface that's dried. You can see me doing that to Goku and Vegeta, on their hair, on their suit. It really helps out a ton. Well, everyone, that was 8 tips in 8 minutes. I hope you found all those tips useful. If you have any questions about them, just leave it in the comment section, and I'll make sure I answer them and go into further detail. If it's something like a big question or anything like that, maybe I can even go over it in a new video. But let me know what you think about this video and this painting. I'd love to see that in the comment section, so please, guys, let me know. And as always, please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Avid Art out.